course, what many people don't know is about dinosaurs is that they never evolved to eat grass. I mean, grass wasn't even around when the dinosaurs were about, but it hadn't evolved yet. And Triceratops, it doesn't graze like a cow. It was more than likely a browser like a black rhino, so it probably fed on low shrubs and trees, and it could quite easily have snapped off branches that were as thick around as my arm. In the fossil records, there is actually proof that male Triceratops might have used their horns to fight each other for like territory or breeding rights. The next animal, well, next dinosaur I'm going to show you is the other one that was around during the time of T-Rex and Triceratops, and is probably the most heavily defended dinosaur. It is Ankylosaurus. Now, Ankylosaurus is part of a group of dinosaurs called the Ankylosaurs, which were some of the most well-defended dinosaurs. I mean, they had thick bony plates across their backs, which were probably made of not just bone, but also probably keratin, like the same substance that our fingernails are made of. But at the business end was this. It's more like a medieval mace, and the Ankylosaurus has been quite often called a T-Rex killer because it could have used this enormous tail as a defensive weapon to whack at its predators, and it could have possibly broken the bones of a T-Rex. And in the last few decades, Ankylosaurus has been used in like the Jurassic World movies, like as you can see here. This was in the first Jurassic World movie. But the Ankylosaurus was not a predator, it was a herbivore, which meant it fed on plants. And of course, in the world of the dinosaurs, it was really a time of kill or be killed, and I doubt that a T-Rex would have been able to kill an Ankylosaurus. I mean, it might have been able to, but if it was going up against that club of a tail, I mean, if I was a T-Rex, I would have just moved away. Now, the next dinosaur I'm going to show you is another one from the Jurassic period, and also probably one of the most famous of all. It is Stegosaurus. Now, Stegosaurus was around in North America during the Jurassic period, about 150 million years ago, and it's described by paleontologists as a heavily armoured tank of a dinosaur. In fact, a fully grown bull could have grown to be well over 9 meters in length and weighed as much as a bus. And as you can see, they had thick bony plates across their backs. I mean, scientists have believed that they might have been used to flush blood into the plates as a way of intimidating our foes. But if that didn't work, it also used this, a weapon at the end of its tail called a thagomizer. And it's like a medieval weapon of war. And when I mentioned earlier with Allosaurus about Allosaurus going into battle with the Stegosaurus, and when I said about that, I'd mention about that later on. I'm going to talk about it now, because in 2005, a Stegosaurus backplate was recovered from Utah with a U-shaped bite taken out of it that fitted the Allosaurus jaws perfectly. Another incredible discovery was an Allosaurus vertebrae which had a massive impact wound that appeared to have been made by the Stegosaurus thagomizer. The blow being so powerful, it punched a hole in the bone of the Allosaurus spine. But another thing about Stegosaurus is fossil evidence has shown that they might have had a travel companion. This dinosaur, Camptosaurus. Camptosaurus was a much smaller herbivore with no obvious defences, but I mean they had, according to skull analysis, they had bigger eyes and relative to their bodies a much bigger brain. And it's likely that Ankylosaurus and Stegosaurus stuck close together for mutual protection, because Ankylosaurus would have acted as the lookout, while the Stegosaurus would have provided the muscle. And especially in a world where you were stalked by Allosaurus, you needed as many allies as you could. I mean, as soon as they'd see one, Ankylosaurus would alert the Stegosaurus, which would give the Stegosaurs time to prepare to fight while the Ankylosaurus scattered. And now, the next animal I'm going to show you from the age of the dinosaurs is the second largest crocodile ever discovered. It is Sarcosuchus. Sarcosuchus was a giant crocodile, and I'd say it was the second largest crocodilian ever discovered. I mean, the biggest being Dinosaurs of North America, but Sarcosuchus was found in North Africa, and it was a giant of a predator. I mean, it could grow to be 10 metres in length, weigh about 8 tons, and had a bite force that could rival T-Rex. And, more incredibly, it could have even hunted dinosaurs like sauropods. If you look at the jaw, I mean, it's quite thin, a lot like the mouth of a gharial, which is a modern-day crocodilian. But unlike the gharial that might have just stopped with eating fish and amphibians, the Sarcosuchus would have taken on prey as big as the sauropods. And it's even possible that they could have made the giant Spinosaurus wary. Of course, their bite force has been shown that they could theoretically bite through steel, but I mean, only theoretically. I mean, if Sarco went around biting steel, you'd probably need to go to the dentist and get a new set of teeth. But I'm pretty sure that, like all crocodiles today, it could have had teeth that would grow back if ones were lost. Because no one's entirely sure how this animal went extinct. I mean, it could have gone extinct at the same time as Spinosaurus when the climate changed and sea levels rose and flooded the swampy habitat they lived in. Now, the next animal I'm going to show you is probably the largest marine reptile ever discovered. It is Predator X. Predator X was discovered in Svalbard in the high Arctic in 2008, where its skull was dug up from the frozen earth, and its skull was 3 times bigger than T-Rex, and its massive mouth had dozens of teeth. Some were hooked, some were serrated, and Predator X could grow to be about 15 metres long and weigh about 45 tons. So it was the most powerful marine reptile ever discovered. And in fact, skull analysis has shown that Predator X might have hunted its prey using smell, like channeling water through special internal muscles inside their nasal cavity, which would have allowed them to hone in on their prey. And they probably ate fish, but a lot of what they fed on was other large swimming marine reptiles like Chimerasaurus, which were in a group called Plesiosaurs. And we actually have quite a disturbing bit of evidence of how it might have hunted Plesiosaurs, because it consists of a skull with a few vertebrae attached and nothing else. And the positions of the bite marks on the skull indicated that the attack came from below, a lot like a great white shark when it's hunting a seal. And of course, Predator X's bite is formidable, estimated to be 4 or 5 times more powerful than T-Rex. When biting hard, it would perforate the body, cutting through muscle and bones before it would be shaped to pieces. And of course, fortunately, Predator X is no longer alive today, because, to be honest, I'm quite glad, because I wouldn't want to go out to the sea with this animal on the loose. Now, I'm going to finish with why the dinosaurs went extinct. It all happened about 65 million years ago, when an asteroid, which was their nemesis, came out into orbit with the Earth. And it was... the dinosaurs were already living on a sick planet. The volcanoes that dominated much of the land had been spewing poisonous gases into the atmosphere, but the dinosaurs were doomed when their nemesis came, because the asteroid was about 30 miles across and travelled faster than a speeding bullet, and it slammed right into the Gulf of Mexico. And you can still see the crater today. And the force of the impact created an explosion more powerful and with much more force than the Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombs that were dropped in Japan in World War II. And it also caused natural disasters from hurricanes, earthquakes, forest fires and tsunamis. But the worst that it did was it caused a massive mushroom cloud of ash and vapour to throw up into the atmosphere and cover the whole planet in a blanket of darkness that lasted for months. The devastation, like 4 months later, was catastrophic. Without sunlight, many plants died, and giant herbivores like sauropods and the ceratopsians were the first to die, because they soon died of hunger. And of course, giant predators like the giant pterosaur, Quetzalcoatlus, and even the giant T-Rex were able to find it easy by scavenging. But that was just an illusion, as once that was gone, scavengers died too. But the impact of the asteroid caused the collapse of total food chains, and it wasn't just dinosaurs that were affected. About approximately 75% of all life on planet Earth was wiped out. Like 95% birds, 90% mammals, 90% insects, and 15% amphibians, and dinosaurs were 100%. But there was one thing that confirmed that the dinosaurs' fate: size. Any animal that wasn't under 25 kilograms during the impact was doomed. And so a small population of creatures survived, but the dinosaurs were doomed. And now you may think that all of the dinosaurs died out, but actually scientists have made discoveries that birds of modern day might be descendants of dinosaurs, because a small group of dinosaurs could have survived and evolved into the birds we see today. Instead of having scales, they now have feathers. And so, in a way, the dinosaurs aren't all gone completely. But yeah, that was my presentation on the dinosaurs that not a lot of you know about. And I included animals that weren't really dinosaurs, like Sarcosuchus and Predator X, but they were around the same time as the dinosaurs.